So thanks everybody who's joining us from across the world today. I can see in the chat, we're already seeing from South Africa to India to Kenya to different parts of the United States. We are thrilled to be joined today to talk about youth mental health and well-being for our Time to Rise event. We are first going to start off by hearing from Moitreyee Sinha, the co-founder and CEO of citiesRISE. I'm just pulling her video in now, and here she is. Hi, Moitreyee, pleasure to be joined by you. We are really excited to have you here and everybody. And one of the things that we just want to express is that, we know everybody around the world is going through challenging times right now. And we believe that part of our shared community is coming together to talk about the issues that we care about and work in partnership with young people to drive new ways of working. And today, I'm really pleased to have us open with remarks from Dr. Moitreyee Sinha. And so Moitreyee, if you could please introduce yourself and kick off the day.
Okay, thank you so much, Lian. Well, it's a great pleasure to be here and to be kicking off this event with Lian. As all of you know, this is such an important subject. Mental health is an issue that underpins every aspect of our lives, from whether it's educational attainment, productivity, family life. And it's also something that is simultaneously impacted by everything around us. So it's really important that we pay some attention to a subject that is not very well understood, and there's not enough practical urgent action. Just as a quick reminder to many of you, and it's a real pleasure that to know that there's so many new faces that are joining this very important conversation today, along with many old friends who have been part of developing this platform. We launched citiesRISE a couple of years back as a response to the important need for practical urgent action. So as we had global institutions like the World Bank and the World Health Organization signal the importance of this very important issue of mental health, it was the coming together of different social entrepreneurs, different young leaders, different systems leaders, and the importance of collaboration and really understanding that mental health is something that we need to respond to across sectors, across generations. So we launched citiesRISE with the commitment to really work together and to understand the importance of bringing the insight, the energy, and the creativity of young people and linking this with the systems that impact their mental health and well-being. So it's a deep pleasure for me personally to launch this event with Lian. Lian joined us to build out this platform when he was just 22 years old and brought with him his own insights, but also along with that, mobilized young people in different cities and communities across the world. And it's a real pleasure for me, as Lian will share with you through the course of the next few hours, to hear the voices of so many people who've joined forces from cities as Chennai, Nairobi, Seattle, Sacramento, Bogota, and so many other places. And it's something where we have the government leaders working with youth leaders, working with research experts, working with social entrepreneurs, both at the local and the global level. And this is the kind of unprecedented collaboration that is truly needed to really tackle something that is so complex as mental health, as well as something that is so important. And part of, when we had worked together, citiesRISE was essentially created by more than 30 organizations coming together. And we had looked at this issue of how do we create a unified shared action, and what is something that is uniquely local, culturally contextual, so that it's rooted in action at the local communities, but something that can also be a shared journey so that we can learn from each other and help each other towards shared goals. And it's been wonderful over the last couple of years to see that level of deep collaboration and the deep humility that this work needs to really learn and share. And so I'm hoping very much that through the course of the next few hours that we are able to highlight some of the kind of changes that is made possible only when we make really deep commitment to issues that face humanity. And I think one of the powerful things that I'm hoping that, as Lian shares the program and why it's structured this way, the importance of this kind of a local global linkage. We live in a time which is extremely, is rapidly changing. And in what's happening right now, whether it's the pandemic or whether it's the issues of racial injustice, there's such important need that we can really work and unleash local leadership and the vision and the aspirations of communities and really listen and learn and work with them. So this ability to kind of be hyper local, at the same time bring in the best that the world has to offer at the national or international level, is something that we have really worked hard to bring together. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Lian. And thank you, Lian, for everything that you have done, and for also want to thank everybody who's worked so hard to bring this event together, and especially all partners in all of the different communities across the world. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Moitreyee. And for those watching, I met Moitreyee, I think just over 4.5 years ago when I was a young person fresh out of college. I was recently coming out of recovery and had spent many years in treatment and was very passionate to get my voice out to the world. And part of one of the challenges of when you're a young person going through mental health challenges is like you have a yearning to be heard and witnessed and to be listened to. And, I think many of us, throughout our lives don't experience that all the time. And when I met Moitreyee, it was this really special moment of being seen and heard. And I've really felt empowered over the years to, as a young mental health advocate, really share and connect with other young leaders. So Moitreyee, I just want to thank you for, creating that space for me, but also so many young people around the world to have their voices heard and seen, and then also create pathways for them to be equal partners in whatever we create, to really disrupt, top-down approaches and different ways of being. And I think one of the things that we've seen is that we can become connected as a global community, and young people across the globe are wanting to connect. And so as we think about this and get the day going, the citiesRISE energy that you've inspired is just, I want to thank you and honor you for that. And I know everybody else can, but as other leaders are looking at empowering young people, I just wanted to see if you had a message around, working in collaboration with young people and the power that it can create.
No, thank you so much, Lian. I think the only thing that I wanted to mention, that I think in the magnitude of what's happening in the world right now, I think that I'd love to see this moment be another call to action, where I think when we had launched citiesRISE, it was very much about rapid, urgent, practical action. And part of what I think we've seen is the importance of learning by doing. And I feel that one thing that I'd love to be able to express is that we need everybody, and everybody plays a critical role. So it's very much about bringing the wisdom of the young and the old, bringing the wisdom of different cultures, bringing science and spirituality together. So it's really the importance of the intersection and the importance of collaborations. So I really believe that this moment is a time where we can all step in and rise to the challenge, and that each of us can be part of the solution. And that's what I hope that all of us who are participating today and all of us who are listening, that we really commit to working together. So thank you so much, Lian.
Thanks so much, Moitreyee. And for all of those watching, we're also streaming live on Facebook. And so we have the active chat going on, and we'll be responding to questions and comments. There's a Twitter chat going on right now at #citiesRISE Talks. I hope the writing behind me is legible. And the flow of the day is we're about to hear from two senior leaders in the global mental health space, Stefan Peterson and Dr. Karlee Silver from Grand Challenges Canada. And then we're going to get into our live panels where we're going to hear from young people around the world. We're going to hear from young people and international experts. And then we're going to hear what's happening on the ground in cities around the world with young people and senior thought partners who are really driving transformative ways of working. And we're going to showcase a mix of arts, creativity, innovative programming, young people's innovations, adult ally innovations, and then also create moments to step back and breathe and meditate. And so throughout the day, whichever segments you're able to join us through, we really appreciate it. And I'm going to be live streaming a mixture of pre-recorded videos, and then we're going to go into the live event. And so now I'm going to enter into our next segment where we hear from Dr. Stefan Peterson. So Moitreyee, thank you so much for opening the day. And thanks everybody for joining us. We really appreciate you. There's over 100 people already watching. So thanks, Moitreyee.
Hi, I'm Stefan Peterson. I'm the immediate past Chief of Health at UNICEF and now a Professor of Global Health at Uppsala University. We need young people to get us out of the mess that my generation and previous generation has actually put us in. What do I mean? Well, in short run, we have a COVID mess where we're actually denied all of you to go to school and university based on next to no evidence. We've proceeded to open bars and pubs before we open schools again, and we need you to innovate us out of this. This business of pretending to do online teaching for those who are lucky enough to have a computer and enough bandwidth and supportive parents does not really apply to the majority of kids and young people around the world. Please help us innovate our way out of that. But we also have a much bigger need where we need you, because we've put ourselves in a planetary emergency, which is ultimately going to kill dignified human life. Because COVID is nothing but a small rehearsal for the planetary emergency when the climate actually messes us up as humans. The planet will survive one way or another. The question is whether humans will. And we need young people, we need your voices, we need your innovation to help fix the COVID mess and the bigger planetary health mess. Sorry to put this on you, and it's very unfair, but please work with us old-timers to fix this. And use your voice. There's 1.8 billion of you out there. Many of you may not be able to vote yet, but you have parents and you are soon to be voters, and you may have friends who are voting. Innovate something, use your voice and fix us, fix the world. And please, we'll be happy to work with you guys. I had a chance earlier this year to visit citiesRISE programming in Nairobi and see how innovative young people can be to address their own situation and their own issues. So I'm a firm believer that actually it's with and by young people that we will overcome these challenges, not for. So the innovation in citiesRISE, as I saw, was young people doing it with them for themselves. And that's, I think, where the power lies, that you guys get organized, get your voice, get your actions together. And the task for organizations, learning from citiesRISE, is to help catalyze that action. And I think this webinar is one of such opportunity to catalyze action. So go for it.
Hi, I'm Karlee Silver. I am the co-CEO of Grand Challenges Canada and a really strong supporter. Have been around since the beginning of citiesRISE, and I'm thrilled to be speaking with you virtually, remotely today. A little bit about my organization. Grand Challenges Canada is dedicated to supporting bold ideas with big impact. We're funded by the Government of Canada and other partners. And we fund innovators in low and middle income countries and in Canada. And what we're really looking for are bold ideas that integrate science and technology, social and business innovation in order to have huge impacts on people around the world, specifically those in resource-constrained areas, those who are hardest to reach, including in conflict zones, and most recently here on Turtle Island with Indigenous people. We're one of the largest Impact First investors in Canada, and we've supported over 1,300 innovations in over 100 countries. And we estimate that these innovations have the potential to save up to 1.8 million lives and improve up to 64 million lives by 2030. So why am I here today? I think mainly it's because we are reinvesting in the area of youth mental health. I'm sure I don't have to be telling this group about why a focus on mental health for youth is important. But I'll just tell you a few of the things that certainly inspire us and that have led us to the point of being able to convince funders and our board that this is a worthwhile place to focus. So this intersection really looks between the fact that in low and middle income countries, up to 85% of people with mental health challenges don't receive treatment. And then we see that 75% of all mental health disorders begin before the age of 24, and yet that access number is most likely even worse for youth, because none of these systems or services that do exist, and they're poor and they're not reaching the right number of people, very few of them were designed for youth and with youth. And so we're really interested in how we can unlock the social and cultural and emotional and educational and economic vibrancy that comes from paying attention to youth mental health and actually providing an opportunity for youth to be the ones who come up with the solutions in this. Like many of you, I have my own story of grappling with mental illness. My father has depression, and he would go on and off medication when I was young. And so I got really good at telling when it was going to be a good day or a bad day from his first words, and changing behavior as a young child to make it better. This definitely had positive effects. Probably I can account a lot of the achievements in my life to the wiring that my brain had as a result of having a parent with mental illness. At the same time, it's had a lot of negative effects, and I take on too much, and I expect I can change too much all alone. And I'm only now at the age of 40 really figuring out how to take care of myself. It took hitting a wall, burning out, having to take significant time off work, being in talk therapy, being on medication, to realize how much kinder the world and how much kinder I can be to myself, and figure out how to use the supports that are around me in a way that I can trust. So this cuts on a few different levels for me, and I'm really excited to see that after a bit of a hiatus, we've been able to relaunch our program on mental health. We had initially launched in 2011 and had supported about 44 million Canadian dollars to support almost 100 different innovation projects in 32 low and middle income countries. We just relaunched in about 6 months ago with the support from the National Institute of Health Research through the Department of Health and Social Care in the United Kingdom. And this time we're focusing our seed funding on youth mental health. So this seed program that is currently taking in applications, but does close today. But don't worry, I've got other information on that. We focus on looking for young innovators and innovations that have input from young people in low and middle income countries. We have engaged young people and scientific experts and past innovators that we've supported in the design of this program. And we're really looking to meet the mental health needs of the most vulnerable young people aged 10 to 24. And specifically, we're looking for approaches that are new, different, really kind of change a paradigm for how to enhance mental health literacy and or to provide youth mental health, youth-friendly services while accounting for the complex social and environmental factors that contribute to young people's mental health and well-being. So who better to do that than people who are youth themselves? We have about 1,200 applications that are currently in our system, so we're thrilled at the uptake of this. This is probably about 4 times what we expected. So it just shows how much potential is out there, but also how live this topic is at the moment. We will have a second intake though, so don't worry if you did not get your application in this time. But you can start reflecting now because we hope to open a second intake period for applications in early 2021. And to keep tabs on us for when that's going to come out, follow us on Twitter. I know that's a really old person's platform, but at GMH_GCC. Or you can go to our website, grandchallenges.ca, and sign up for our newsletter so that it comes right into your inbox when we launch that. We will only be funding this round and next round projects that clearly demonstrate youth participation and involvement. And our goal is actually to be able to fund and support youth-led organizations, recognizing that young people are best able to determine what is needed, what is innovative, and what other young people will relate to and engage with. And we're trying to figure out our own systems in order to make that possible, knowing that in the past, the systems we've built have not been as accessible or as ready to be accepting youth-led organizations. So we're doing that work at the moment. We're also looking to engage youth. It started already, but to include youth in all levels of our review process, to incorporate that perspective and to center the youth voice in this work. So we're really excited to be seeing what comes out of this first round, and more importantly, to see how we can support a growing community of youth innovators and innovators focused on bringing voice to young people in order to address this massive issue that can really unlock our next generation's health and well-being. So I'm looking forward to seeing, hopefully, many of you apply in the future. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I wish I was with you because it sounds amazing, but I'm sure the connections and the inspiration you get from this will be well worth your time.